The story begins with Rachel. She rides the 8:04 train into London every morning and the 5:56 back every evening. The train is her ritual, her sanctuary, and her shame. From her window, she watches the world go by, her days blurred by the gin and tonic she sips from a can, hidden in her bag. Rachel is a woman hollowed out by loss. Her husband, Tom, has left her for another woman, Anna. They live in the house that was once Rachel's, on Blenheim Road, just a few doors down from the railway line. Rachel is unemployed, having been fired for her drinking, but she pretends to commute every day to appease her roommate, Kathy, and to maintain the last fragile structure of her life. Her daily journey is a slow-motion torture. The train always stops at the same faulty red signal, right alongside her old neighborhood, and from there, she watches. She watches her old house, number 23, and the life Tom and Anna have built with their new baby. But mostly, she watches the couple 4 doors down at number 15. In her mind, she's named them Jason and Jess. They are, to her, the perfect, golden couple. She imagines their happy life, their love, their domestic bliss. They are everything she once had, everything she has lost. They are her obsession. One Friday morning, the train stops as usual. Rachel looks out, expecting to see her perfect couple. Instead, she sees something that shatters the illusion. She sees Jess, the woman she will soon learn is named Megan Hipwell, standing on her lawn, kissing a man who is not Jason. Rachel is consumed by a strange personal fury. It feels like a betrayal. How could this woman, who has everything, throw it all away? The next day, Saturday, is a blur. Rachel, reeling from the betrayal and her own loneliness, drinks heavily. She knows she needs to do something, to intervene, but her day dissolves into a blackout. She wakes up on Sunday morning in her own bed, covered in bruises, with a bloody gash on her head and no memory of the night before. She only has a terrifying, visceral feeling that something terrible has happened. Then, the news breaks. Megan Hipwell, the woman from number 15, is missing. She was last seen on Saturday night, the very night Rachel was in the area, the night she blacked out. Rachel is left with sickening fragments of memory. The dank, urine-scented chill of the railway underpass near Megan's home. A man with red hair. The sound of shouting. The feeling of stumbling, of falling. The sharp, metallic taste of blood. She becomes convinced that she is a witness, that she saw something crucial in the moments her mind erased. The narrative shifts back in time, revealing the woman Rachel called Jess. Megan Hipwell is nothing like the perfect wife of Rachel's imagination. She is beautiful, yes, but also restless, damaged, and suffocating in her suburban life. She has a dark and painful past. Years ago, her beloved brother Ben died in an accident. Lost in grief, she fell into a relationship with a man named Mac and gave birth to a baby girl, Libby. One night, in a moment of despair and exhaustion, Megan fell asleep in the bathtub with the infant, and the baby drowned. This secret has defined her. She is haunted, unable to connect fully with her husband, Scott, the man Rachel called Jason. Scott is a possessive and controlling man, desperate for a child she refuses to have, terrified she will fall back into her old, self-destructive habits. Looking for an escape, Megan begins 2 affairs. The first is with her therapist, Dr. Kamal Abdik, a man to whom she confesses her darkest secrets. Everything except the truth about Libby's death. The second affair, more shocking and dangerous, is with a man who lives just down the street. To fill her empty days, Megan briefly takes a job as a nanny for the baby down the road. Evie, the daughter of Tom and Anna Watson. Back in the present, Rachel's obsession with the case deepens. She cannot let it go. She believes that only she holds the key to what happened to Megan. She begins her own desperate, clumsy investigation. She lies her way into the life of Megan's grieving husband, Scott. She tells him she was a friend of Megan's, feeding him scraps of information to gain his trust. She tells him about the man she saw Megan kissing, and together, they identify him as Dr. Kamal Abdik. Scott, consumed by grief and rage, becomes the primary suspect. The police know he and Megan had a volatile relationship. Rachel, meanwhile, develops a strange, toxic bond with Scott. They are two broken people, clinging to each other in the wreckage. Their shared grief and obsession boils over, and one night, they sleep together in the bed Scott once shared with Megan. Rachel is also plagued by the police. She tries to tell them what she remembers: the underpass, the red-haired man. But her history of alcoholism, her blackouts, and her known harassment of Tom and Anna make her the ultimate unreliable witness. They dismiss her as a lonely, drunken fantasist. And then there is Anna, Tom's new wife. She is living in constant fear, not of the killer, but of Rachel. She sees Rachel lurking in the neighborhood, a drunken specter from her husband's past. She installs new locks, she watches the street, and she begs Tom to do something to make Rachel leave them alone. Dr. Abdick is brought in for questioning. He has a solid alibi for the night of the murder, but he lies to the police about his affair with Megan to protect his career. This, combined with Rachel's eyewitness account, makes him a person of interest. The case grows darker when the police, acting on an anonymous tip, find the shallow grave in Corley Wood. Megan's body is discovered. The investigation is now a murder hunt. The discovery of the body pushes everyone to their breaking point. Scott, learning of Megan's affair, becomes violently unstable. He discovers Rachel's lies, that she never knew Megan at all, and in a drunken rage, he attacks her, locking her in a room in his house. Rachel barely escapes, now terrified of the man she once tried to help. She also continues her sessions with Dr. Abdick, not for therapy, but to probe him for information. She believes he is the killer. But as she talks to him, another, more terrifying possibility begins to form. The final pieces fall into place, not through police work, but through the fractured memories of the two women Tom Watson betrayed. In her house, Anna's perfect life is unraveling. She feels Tom pulling away from her, becoming secretive and cold. One night, consumed by suspicion, she searches his gym bag. Inside, she finds a hidden cell phone. It is not Tom's phone. She recognizes the voice on the voicemail. It's Megan's. The call logs and texts reveal the truth. Tom wasn't just an affair, he was Megan's other affair. The affair that began when she was nannying their child. Anna realizes her husband is a pathological liar. At the same time, Rachel finally unlocks the memory that has been torturing her. She's haunted by a specific phrase Tom used to use when she was in a blackout. "You were blind drunk, Rachel. Filthy, stinking drunk." He had said it to her just recently, describing her state on the night Megan disappeared. And then she remembers. She was in the underpass that night. She did see Tom. He was there, meeting Megan. Rachel, in her drunken state, had confronted him. Tom, furious at being caught, had struck her, smashing her head against the pavement and leaving her bleeding in the tunnel. She realizes with chilling clarity, Tom had been lying to her for years. During her blackouts, she wasn't the violent, destructive monster he described. He was the abuser. He gaslit her, using her alcoholism as a cover for his own rage, convincing her that his bruises came from her, not the other way around. He had systematically destroyed her sanity to hide his own nature. Rachel knows he is the killer. She runs to Blenheim Road to warn Anna. She finds Anna in the garden, pale and shaking. The two women, the wife and the ex-wife, finally confront the truth together. Just as Rachel is telling Anna what she remembers, Tom arrives home. The confrontation is quiet, then terrifying. Tom, seeing he is trapped between the two women who know his secrets, drops all pretense. He confesses everything. He tells them how he started the affair with Megan, how it was just a game, an escape from the pressures of new fatherhood. But then Megan became obsessive, just as he claims Rachel had. And then she told him she was pregnant. It was his child. She threatened to tell Anna, to destroy the perfect life he had built. On that Saturday night, he met Megan in the underpass, only to be interrupted by a blackout drunk Rachel. After knocking Rachel unconscious, he convinced Megan to drive with him to Corley Wood to talk. There, as she pleaded with him to accept their child, He snapped. He told her she'd be a terrible mother. He hit her with a rock, and when she tried to crawl away, he hit her again and again until she was dead. He buried her in the woods, using his bare hands. He stands in the kitchen, a small, triumphant smile on his face, a monster revealed. He tells Rachel she's a pathetic, begging dog. He tells Anna she was weak. He has no remorse. He only has rage that he was found out. He knows he can't let Rachel leave. He attacks her, smashing a bottle over her head and dragging her through the kitchen. He is going to kill her, just as he killed Megan. Anna, frozen in terror, clutches her baby. But as Tom drags Rachel, his back is to her. Rachel, remembering the corkscrew she'd bought for her train ride home, plunges it deep into his neck. Tom collapses, choking, his eyes wide with shock. He claws at his throat. The train thunders past the garden fence. Anna walks over to him. She looks down at the man who betrayed them both. Then, as Rachel watches in horror, Anna takes the corkscrew still embedded in his neck, and with cold, steady hands, she twists it deeper. "I tried to stop the bleeding," she would later tell the police. "I tried to save him." In the aftermath, the two women, bound by this shared, terrible secret, support each other's stories. It was self-defense. Rachel had no choice. Anna did everything she could to help. The police are suspicious, but their stories hold. The full truth about Tom Watson, his pathological lies, his manipulation, his countless affairs, slowly comes out. He was never in the army. He had lied about his family, his work, his entire life. Anna sells the house on Blenheim Road and moves away with her daughter, Evie, finally free from the shadow of her husband and his past. And Rachel, she finally lets go. She leaves Ashbury, leaves the 8:04 train behind. She moves to a small town on the coast. She is sober now, for the first time in years. The nightmares haven't stopped, and the guilt of what she did, of the life she took, is a heavy weight. But as she sits on a bench overlooking the sea, she is no longer the girl on the train. She is just Rachel, haunted but alive, and finally, terrifyingly, free.